श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। प्रागुक्त साधन संपन्नस्य सर्वकर्म संन्यासिनः ब्रह्मज्ञानोत्पत्तौ साधनक्रमम् आह. Now Bhagavan is explaining the order of knowledge for the people who have gained the prerequisites. Sarvakarma sannyasina, for people who have taken the Sarvakarma sannyasa, who have taken the renunciation of all the karmas. This does not mean only the sannyasis are eligible for the knowledge. We already said people who don't have the sense of I mind or the attachment to the things, that those people also should be accepted as eligible. Otherwise, only sannyasis are eligible. If that means, then there is no point of a brahmachari, grihastha or anashrami reading this text. A. B. You cannot explain the people who have taken, who have gained the knowledge without sannyasa. That cannot be explained also. Okay, so sannyasa is not attached to things. That is how you have to understand. Because even after taking the ochre rope, people are attached to their old family, etc. They may not treat them as son, daughter, or they may not use words calling them as son, daughter, etc. But still, they'll have the same kind of attachment. I have seen those things also. So, siddhim prapto yatha brahma tathapnoti vidnibodhame samasenaiva kaunteya nishtha jnanasya yapara. सिद्धिं प्राप्तः यथा ब्रह्म तथा आपनोति निबोधमे. One who has gained the siddhi, this prerequisites, brahma yatha prapnoti tatha nibodhame. The way he will gain the Brahman, that I am going to explain. Listen to me. Are you going to explain to me in detail? Because every time he says I am going to explain in detail. Here he says Samasena eva kaunteya. O son of Kunti, I am going to explain it only in brief. Nishtha jnanasya yapara, and the jnana nishtha also I am going to explain in brief. Being established in that. See, Brahman, yatha apnoti and jnana nishtha, they are not two different things. They are same thing. He says that Brahman and that jnana nishtha I am going to explain. Sarva karmana ईश्वरम आराध्य तत्प्रसादजाम सर्वकर्मत्याग पर्यंताम ज्ञानोत्पत्ति योग्यता रूपाम सिद्धिम. So swakkarmana, through one's own karmas means their ashrama and varna vihita karmas. It is raining, that is why I have to shout, otherwise I don't know if this is also. Why is Guruji shouting today? Because I am not able to hear me. It's raining heavily. This is summer. Yesterday also it was raining. Swarkarmana Ishwaram Aradhya Tat Prasadajam Sarva Karma Tyaga Paryantam. So, Swakarmana, through one's own ashrama and varna karmas, Ishwaram Aradhya, one worships the Ishvara. Ishvara how? By performing the karmas without attachment to the results and surrendering it to Ishvara. That is how Ishvara Aradhya Tat Prasadajam. And through his grace, whatever is gained, Sarvakarma Sannyasa Tyaga Paryantam. Complete till the Sarvakarma Sannyasa. Whatever the prerequisite for knowledge, gaining the knowledge is, that he is gaining. That is what is called a Siddhi. Antakarana Shuddhim Praptaha. Meaning that accomplishment is the purity of mind. One who has gained that, Yatha Brahma Prapnoti Yena Prakarena. In whichever way he is going to gain that Brahman, Shuddham Atmanam Sakshat Karoti. Gain that Brahman means that pure blissful self. That whatever immediate knowledge in whichever way he is going to gain, Tatha Tam Prakaram Nibodhame. That order, that sequence I am going to explain. Prakara, Krama is sequence. Krama means sequence. the order. Okay, so that sequence I'm going to explain. Listen to me. After listening, what should I do? Madvachanat avadharaya anushtatum. Make it clear in your head and for practicing it. That is why I'm explaining to you. Kim ativistarena? What are you going to explain it in detail again? Na ityaha. No. Why? Samasena sankshepenaiva natu vistarena he kaunteya. I'm going to only explain in brief, not in detail. Oh son of Kunti, listen to this. Okay. Tad avadharane kim syat? Okay, if I'm going to understand it and I'm going to gain a clarity over it, what will happen? Ityatah, for that it is said, nishtha jnanasya yapara jnanasya vichara parinishpannasya nishtha parismaptihi. You will be establishing, becoming established in the knowledge is the end for all the troubles. So you will be established in that. Yadanantaram sadhanantaram nanushteyam asti. After which there is no need for practicing any other kind of sadhanas. Para sreshta sarvantya va sakshat mokshetata. Because this is para, superior, and this is sreshta, this is greater. Why? Because this is the direct means of immediate knowledge. Therefore, moksha, sakshat mokshetata, as it is going to give you immediate knowledge without any hindrance. Tam siddhim praptasya brahma prapti rupam jnananishtham param sankhepene nibodha ityartha. So those people who have gained this accomplishment, regarding them, meaning one who has gained the establishment in that Brahman, one who has gained the immediate knowledge of the Brahman self, that I am going to explain, that superior knowledge I am going to explain in brief. Listen to me, that is the idea here. Same jnana nishtha saprakara muchyate. This jnana nishtha is going to be established along with its prakara. Prakara is, in logic, it is called as visheshana, all the attributes. I am going to explain it along with its attributes. Prakara is visheshana in logic. Okay, so its attributes here. Buddhya vishuddhya yuktaha dhrityatmanam niyamya cha shabdadin vishayans tyaktva ragadvesho vidasya cha viviktasevi lakvashi yatavakkaya manasaha dhyana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samupashritah ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuchya nirmama shantah brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Here he need not have clubbed all these three shlokas in one place, because he is writing commentary over each of this, but he has clubbed it all here so that for you to easily summarize and understand it in one place. Buddhya, with intelligence. What kind of? Vishuddhya buddhya, with mind, which is pure mind. Intelligence is mind. With pure mind, yuktaha, one who is endowed, dhritya, and with steadfastness, atmanam niyamyacha, with that steadfastness, he has to control the mind also. By controlling the mind, and shabdadin vishayan tyaktva. See, if you take it as atmanam as mind, or if you can say take it as sense organs, body sense organ complex also. Okay, the whole group. Shabdadin vishayans tyaktva, giving up the sound, etc., all the association with all the objects, sense objects. Ragat vesho vidasyata, and the root cause of all that is the desire and hatred. That also after giving up. Vivikta sevi lagvashi. Vivikta sevi, he is one who experiences things through discrimination. That does not mean he is going to discriminate before experiencing everything. He uses things for his growth. That is the idea. Lagvashi. Lagvashi means, lagu means small, ashi means one who eats. One who eats very small, very little. What does that mean? See, because as I was explaining, see, I don't add sugar to my tea or coffee. Not because I prefer it like that. I have made it as a habit. Why? Because if I go to a house and ask for Guruji, Swamiji, sugar, little. This little differs from each house. For a house which has 2 spoons of sugar, little is a half or 1 spoon of sugar. For a house which has 4 spoons of sugar, little is a 2 spoons. For a house only which adds only 1 cube or 1 spoon of sugar, half is the half less. So see, if it is really less, it is not a big deal. But if it is going to be 2 spoons, which is their idea of lesser, then it will become a punishment. So I said I will give up this sugar itself completely. So similarly here, lagvashi, this person eats very less means what? Why should he eat less? Less is also, debatable. So less here is the idea that whatever you eat should not bring you laziness or should not bring you sleep, etc. It should not take you to laya and state of inertia. That is what is said less. Yata vakkaya manasah, one who has controlled the speech, the body and the mind. Dhyana yoga paraha, and one who is endowed with the dhyana yoga, nidhyasana. Nityam vairagyam samapashrita, and always endowed with vairagya, always is interested in dispassion, established in dispassion. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham. Ahankaram, ego. Balam is not, balam normally is, though is strength, it is not strength of the physique here, because we are asking him to give up that vimuchya. So you cannot give up your strength. So balam here is a mental, because it is ahankaram, balam, darpam, it is all in line with that. So if in between he cannot introduce something else. So balam, darpam, kamam, krodham, balam, darpam, boasting of oneself to be greater. Then kamam, attachment, krodham, anger, parigraham, being attached to things and accumulating things, vimuchya, giving this up, nirmamaha shantaha, without any ego, mamakara, mindness, shantaha, one who is at peace, brahma bhuyaya kalpata. It is said he is eligible for becoming the Brahman. He is eligible for becoming the absolute self. Now, vishuddhya sarvasanshaya viparyaya shunyaya buddhya aham brahmasmi iti vedanta vakya janya. Vishuddhya means with pure. Pure means where there is, the intellect is pure means where there is no doubt or erroneous knowledge. That kind of mind, that kind of intellect, where aham brahmasmi iti vedanta vakya janya buddhi vrittya, where there is a thought function which is of the nature of aham brahmasmi, which is gained only through Vedanta Vakyas, only through the statement of Vedanta. You have to understand, remember this. Never do we subscribe to this mystical stupidity. Mystical stupidity, because I know many Vedantins who study Vedanta and expect something to happen mystically. All those idiots, they are useless for Vedanta. Don't hang over this stupid idea. Don't have a hangover of the stupid idea of mystical experience. Nothing like that will happen. Okay? So, Vedanta Vakya Janya Buddhi Vrittya. The Buddhi Vritti which takes place through the Vedanta Vakya, which only takes place through the Vedanta Vakya, the statements of Vedanta, that kind of thought function, Yuktaha Sada Tad Ashritaha Atad Anvitaha, one who is endowed with it, meaning always. Dhrutya dhairyena atmanam sharirendri sangatam niyamya, and with strength he should have to also control the body sense organ complex with that strength. Niyamya, niyamya, controlling means what? Unmarga pravurtehe nivarya, by preventing it from unmarga. Marga means path, unmarga means reverse. By preventing it from taking the wrong path, okay, which is prohibited path. Atma pravanam kritva. By preventing it, you are not making it stop there. You have to make it an expert in going inside. Atma pravanam, pravana, pravina, etc. are expertise. They give name also, praveen. Kritva. Cha shabdena yoga shastroktam sadhanantram samuchyate. With that cha, whatever is said in the yoga shastra, the other prerequisites, they are also said here. Okay? Shabdadin, Shabda Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandhadin, Vishayan, Bogena, Mandahetu. All these sound, etc., all these objects, They are all, once you start being attached to them, they all are cause for bondage. Remember that. Samarthyat, and because of that, you can understand Samarthyat means because of based on this idea, the strength of this idea, Jnanishtartha Sharira Sthiti Matra Prayojana Anupayuktan Anishidhanapi. Those, see, those activities which are not going to prevent you from knowledge, being established in knowledge, those activities which are not prohibited, that also should be accepted. Because people think this is not prohibited, this is okay. No, everything which any sound, etc., any sense organ involvement is going to bring an obstacle to your path. There is no doubt regarding that. Don't have any doubt regarding that. Tiktva, giving up. So even those which are not going to be of any hindrance, those also should be given up. There should be nothing else other than the Vedanta Vichara Chinta. That is what he is prescribing. Sharir Sthiti Matarteshu cha teshu, only involving with the basic requirement for the body sense organ complex to function. Teshu ragadveshu vidasya parihridijya. And even in that, without any desire or hatred, giving up the desire or hatred even with respect to them. That is how you have to be. Chakarad anyadapi jnana vikshepakam paritijya. With that cha, niyamya cha, vidasya cha, with that cha, you have to understand whatever is going to be hindrance, obstacle to the knowledge, those also should be given up. Like there is a question regarding this prarabdha and purushartha. Every sadhu is asked this question. What is prarabdha? What is purushartha? There some people prescribe to prarabdha, some people prescribe to purushartha, and there some people will confuse. For me, it is very clear. My answer is this. What is greater, prarabdha or purushartha? Purushartha is greater. Okay? So whatever you want in your life, whatever is your goal in your life, whether it is money, it is power, it is position, whatever it may be, education, studies, whatever, your research, so knowledge, of course. So your focus should be only on that, and your effort should be only for gaining that, and leave everything else to the prarabdha. Let your prarabdha feed all those other requirements. Whatever has to come to you will come to you. Leave all that to prarabdha. Okay, except for the focus on the goal, whatever the goal be. Chakarad, okay. So Vivikta Sevi Tyatra, Vivikta Sevi, he said, there you have to associate syntactically with the final statement, Shanto Brahma Bhuya. He is eligible for gaining the Brahman. That is how you have to connect it. Vivikta Sevi means Viviktam Jana Sammardha Rahitam. Viviktam means individual. Means he should be staying in a place alone. Pavitram, which is pure also. Alone means not in a dirty place. That place also should be pure. We have seen Sharkrava, Baluvanni, Virahite, Deshe, etc. It should not be infested with things which will harm you, which will disturb you. So those kind of places. Yad Aranya, Giri, Guhadi, like the forest, like the mountains, like the caves, etc. Tat sevitum sheelam yasya, one who has the habit of staying in those kind of places, chitta ekagre sampatyartham, tad vikshepa kari rahita ityartha. Meaning, whatever is individually staying alone means whatever is going to help you to gain the focus of mind. So, whatever is going to disturb you, the focus of mind, not with that. That is the idea. Because even you go to the forest, in the forest also, your mind will be having the ideas of a wine woman, etc. Then you even in forest you are not going to happy. Like we saw Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra had this illusion of this damsel from heaven coming and dancing, Menaka coming and dancing in front of him. What's that? It is all because you are used to the experience, and you go to the forest and you are recollecting those experiences, and that presents itself in front of you. So not with those kind of ideas. That is why it is where satsangatve nisangatvam it is said in Bhajagovindam. You have to be in satsanga and then go to nisanga. Otherwise, staying in a place like this alone, you will go crazy. Believe me, you will go crazy because there's no one to interact, and you are used to interacting with people. Gone. So, lagvashi, lagu parimitam hitam medhyam cha, ashitum sheelam yasya. One who has the habit of eating less and that which is conducive, good for the health. Only that. Meaning, sir, nidralasya chitta laya kari rahita ityartha. The ones which are medium means which is pure, sattvic food. Okay, so he should be avoiding those foods which will take him to inertia state of inertia, like a deep sleep or laziness, etc. Yatani Sanyatani Vakaya Manasani Yena, sir. So, one who has controlled the mind. What does that mean? Yes, sir. Yama Niyama Asanadi Sadhana Sampannani Ityartha. He is equipped with Yama Niyama Asana, etc. All these other sadhanas, practices. Dhyana Yoga Paraha Nityam Chittasya Atmakara Pratyavrittir Dhyanam. आत्माकार प्रत्ययेन निर्वृत्तिकम आपादनम योगः ध्यान योगा परः he is always endowed with dhyana yoga. What is dhyana? Always having the thought function of atmakara vritti, the thought function of I. It is not akhandakara vritti, because in akhandakara vritti there is no repetition. Here we are asked to do the repetition of aham brahmasmi, the idea of repetition, meaning your mind should not be associated with anything else other than the self. That is what is nidhyasana, right? Having only one thought function without being disturbed by another thought function, the other thought functions. So that kind of having that kind of thought function without failing is called as yoga. Without being disturbed is called as yoga. Nityam sadaiva tatparaha tayoho anushthanaparaha nato mantra japa tirtha yatradi paraha. So he is always endowed with that and not involved in mantra japa, tirtha yatra, etc. Because these people who take up to sannyasa, etc., what do they do is they travel from one holy place to another holy place. Just traveling, wasting their time, whiling their time. See, instead of studying the shastra and doing the vichara in the that is said in the shastra, they'll be, because they are free to go here and there, they do that. That is stupidity. Okay, nothing. Only intelligent people understand that and they stop that. Vairagyam drishtashta vishayeshu spruha virodhi chitta parinam. Vairagya means whatever is seen and unseen, whatever the object here and hereafter, in all those objects having no attachment, no association with them. Sampashritah samyag nishchalatvena nityamashata. One who is completely established in it without being disturbed. That is the idea. Ahankaram mahakula prasut. Ahankaram, ego. What kind of ego are we talking about? Mahakula prasutaham. I am born in a very great family. Mahatam, I am not talking about myself. That is what is ahankara. Mahatam shishyo aham. So I am from. Okay, you are talking about your family. You are given up your family. Now you are a sannyasi. Talk about that. Okay, I am a disciple of great sannyasi. I am a great disciple of great Guruji. Another ego. Okay, so next. Ati viraktosmi, and I am a great dispassionate person. Another ego, stupidity. And nasti ditviyo matsamaha, there is none equivalent to me. Another stupidity. All these stupidities you can see in many of these sadhakas. Many of the sadhakas you can see these stupidities. Iti abhimanam. This idea, this identification, balam. Balam means asat agraham, attachment to wrong things. Natu shariram, natu shariram. Not the physical strength he is talking about. Swabhaviketvam tektum ashakyata, because it is natural thing. It is an inherent thing. You cannot give it up. Darpam. Darpam means harsha janyam, that which takes place because of the happiness, smile, happiness. Madam. Madam means dharma atikrama karma. Madam means I am the superiorest of the practitioners of dharma in this way, the idea, and which is becomes the cause for your downfall also, not practicing dharma also. How do you know? Krishto drupyati drupto dharmam atikramati iti smriti. The smriti says, one who laughs, he falls in the trap of dharpa, that kind of ego. I am the greatest, etc. And one who has that kind of ego invariably fails in practicing his dharma. Kamam, Vishayabhilasham. Kamam means attachment to the objects, sense objects. Vairagyam samupashrityanena uktasyapi. Though we said Vairagyam samupashritya in the previous shloka, he should have to be established very nicely in the dispassion. Now he is again saying you have to give up the attachments. Why? Because uktasyapi kamatyagasya punarvachanam. Though it is said, again repeating it is yatnadikyartham, to show that you have to put a lot of effort to do that. Krodham, dvesham, parigraham, sharira, dharanartham, aspruhatvepi, paropanitam, bahya, upakaranam, vimuchya, tyaktva. Anger, hate, attachment, sharira dharanartham, aspruhatvepi. Though for the sake of the body sense organ complex you don't have any attachment, still paropanitam, somebody will bring in something. So being attached to them, bahya upakaranam, whatever is external objects, being attached to them, vimuchya, tyaktva, giving them up. Shikha yajñopavita adhikamapi, even the shikha yajñopavita, etc., all this sacred thread, etc., all that should be given up. Here he is talking about the sannyasa, how to take to sannyasa. Dandamekam kamandalum kaupina chadanam cha shastra abhyunityatam, and only holding on to dandam, the stick, and kamandalu, a vessel, kaupinam, loin cloth, achadanam, some covering, which are accepted by the shastra, only holding on to that. So sharira yatartham adaya, whatever is necessary basically for living, those things. Paramamsa parivrajako bhutva, by taking up to sannyasa, nirmamah, deha jivana matrepi mamakara rahita. Even for the sake of living, there is no mind, idea of mind. So my life, etc., that there is no idea of that. Atayeva ahankara mamakara abhavat apagata harsha vishadatvat. And that is why he doesn't have this harsha vishada, happiness or sorrow, because he does not have desire or hatred. Therefore, shanta, he is at peace, he is tranquil. Vikshepa rahita, without any disturbance in the mind. Yati, that kind of sannyasi, jnana sadhana paripaka kramena, by the fructification of the means of knowledge, each sadhana he gets more convinced. By that, Brahma Bhuyaya, Brahma Sakshat Kare Kalpate Samarthobhat, he becomes more eligible for becoming that Brahman, for understanding the Brahman, for knowing that Brahman. Kena Kramena Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate Tadaha. In which order does he become eligible for becoming Brahman? Gaining the knowledge. That is it. Brahma Bhutah Prasannatma, Nashochati Nakangshati, Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Mat Bhaktim Lavate Param. Brahma Bhutah Prasannatma, Na Shochati, Na Kangshati. Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Madbhaktim Labhate Param. Brahma Bhutah. Brahma Bhutah means this fellow who has become the Brahman. Prasannatma, one who has a tranquil mind, satisfied mind. Therefore, Na Shochati, Na Kangshati. Ko Shokaha, Tatra Ko Shoko, Mohaka Shokaha. Shoka is Shochati, Na Shochati. He does not worry. Na Kangshati, Moha, delusion, because being attached to expectancy, having expectancy on things, expecting things is a delusion. So he does not become deluded also. Samha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. And he sees equanimity in everything, and because of that he gains that great bhakti, devotion. Here bhakti is not devotion, he gains that focus for doing that nididhyasana. He gains that nididhyasana and the fruit of nididhyasana. That's the idea. Bhakti here is not devotion. Bhakti here is nididhyasana. Eka bhaktim vishishyate, he already said that devotion to that attachment to that one non-dual self is the superior bhakti. And in Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavan says, Bhagavan Bhashyakara says in the beginning itself, Atmanusandhanam bhaktiritya vidiyate, Atmanusandhanam bhaktiritya vidiyate. Remembering, thinking about, contemplating on the self is called as bhakti. Okay? So you have to remember those statements also. Brahma bhuto aham brahmasmi iti dhrada nishchayavan. Brahma bhutah means he has not become the absolute self immediately, but that one who is always practicing the aham brahmasmi thought. Shravana manana abhyasat. Why? Meaning he is doing the nididhyasana. Why? How? Shravana manana abhyasat. Because of the Shravana and Manana. Because of practicing the Shravana and Manana. Prasannatma shuddha chittaha shamadamadi abhyasat. He has a pure mind. How? Because of the practice of shamadama, etc. Ata eva na shochati nashtam na kankshati apraptam. He does not worry about whatever he lost, and he does not expect anything whatever he has not gained. Ata eva nigraha anugrahayor anarambah. And that is why he does not start anything for protecting someone or for blessing someone. It happens naturally in him. He does not begin any activity of protecting or giving the grace. Sarveshu sama sarveshu bhuteshu. In every being, atma upanyena sarvatra sukham dukkham cha pashyati. He sees in everything the same self. He sees the same kind of, he sees everyone in the same way. He puts himself in the same shoe. That is why there is no worry of, see, why do you become hurt or things like that? Because you expect something out of that person, the other person, and that person does not reciprocate in that same way which you expect. Therefore, you become hurt. But just for a second, put yourself in the shoes of that person. What will happen? What would you have done? You would have done the same thing probably. Because in that situation, what the other person is in, it is natural for them to take that decision. So that is what he says. He sees these ideas and he understands their situation. Therefore, he does not worry or rejoice over them. Evam bhutah jnananishtaha yatihi madbhaktim mayi bhagavati shuddhe paramatmani. So this kind of person, one who is established in the knowledge, has devotion in me. Me means not the Krishna, but Shuddhe Paramatma, the absolute bliss, the absolute self. Bhaktam upasanam. Bhakti is upasana. He says is upasana. Madakara chitta vrittihi avritti rupam. The repetition of the thought function regarding me. This is aham brahmasmi in this form, not the akhandakara vritti, because there is no repetition of akhandakara vritti. Akhandakara vritti takes place once and over. It does not repeat itself. Some idiots think that you have to repeat the akhandakara vritti. No, that doesn't take place. It takes only once. Because I was also thinking that you have to practice the akhandakara vritti. No, you cannot practice the akhandakara vritti. Akhandakara vritti, once it takes place, it does the job and it's over. Okay, so paripakva nididhyasanaksha shravana manana abhyasa phalabhutam, and because of which he gains the fructification of the state of nididhyasana, being able to practice the state of nididhyasana, which is the fruit of shravana and manana. So it is the fruit of practicing the shravana and manana. Labhate param, and because of that he gains the param shreshtham avyavadanena sakshatkara phalam. He gains the immediate knowledge without any delay, immediately. Chaturvidha bhajante mam ityatra uktasya. And with this we have said already in the Chaturvidham bhajate mam. There are 4 kinds of people who worship me. Bhakti chatushtayasya antyam jnana lakshanam iti. Among them, this person is one who is established in that knowledge, the 4th one in the group. Tadascha. And therefore, thereafter what happens? Bhaktya mam abhijnanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. Bhaktya, through this nididhyasana, mam abhijanati, he understands me. Yavan yaschasmi tatvatah, in reality, yavan, whatever I am, yascha, in whichever way I am. So how much ever or whichever way I am, that he completely understands. Tato mam tattvato jnatva. After understanding me in this way, vishate tadanantaram, he enters me, becomes non-dual. Bhaktya nididhyasana nididhyasanaatmikya jnananishthaya. So jnananishta which takes place through the which is nididhyasana itself. Mam advitiya atmanam abhijanati. Through that nididhyasana, he gains me, the one non-dual self. He gains the immediate knowledge of me. Sakshat karoti, it gains immediate knowledge of me. Yavan, whatever, in whichever way I am. Whichever way I am means vibhu, nityascha, yascha, one which is all pervading, one which is eternal. Yascha purna satyananda ganaha, one which is absolute bliss, existence, knowledge. Sada vidvasta sarva upadhihi, where there is no association with any kind of embodiment. Akhanda ekarasa, which is one non-dual self. Ekaha, one. Tavantam chabhijanati. All that he understands. Tataha mam evam tattvato jnatva. By understanding me in reality, aham asmi akhanda ananda advitiyam brahmeti. In what way? He sakshat kritya, he gains the immediate knowledge that I am that absolute non-dual bliss, Brahman. Vishate, pra, if you add pravishate, pravesha means to enter. Pravesha dwara means the entrance. Okay? Vishate means he enters. Ajnatatkari nivruttau sarvopadi shunyatya madrupaya bhavati. By getting rid, entering means there is no non-self, self-distinguishing here. The entering here means by getting rid of the ignorance and its effect, he becomes relieved of all the embodiments and becomes my own form, my own nature, which is Brahma eva san Brahma bhavati. Brahmaiva san Brahma apnoti. Brahmaiva san Brahma apnoti. He being the Brahman, he becomes the Brahman. Brahmaiva bhavati. All that statements. Tadanantaram balavat prarabdha karma bhogena dehapatanantaram natu jnanantaram. After that means after your prarabdha karma gets extinguished, he becomes one with that. Tat anantaram. After that means after the prarabdha karma extinguishing, not just after the knowledge. That is what he wants you to understand here. But in reality, it can be of different types. If you accept the Nana Jivada, you can understand it in this way, because your disciple is seeing you, and therefore he sees your existence, and there are ignorant people who see the existence of the Jnani, and him treating or taking part in discussion, etc. All this. So therefore they think after knowledge they exist. Once the knowledge takes place, there is no illusion. But still, from their vision, there is this illusion. So, to explain that, he says, there are two words. One is bhutva and anantaram. Bhutva anantaram. That is why he says, tva pratyena eva tallabe. Because bhutva, tva, that is a suffix which is said. Samana kartarkyoho purva kale tva. When there is a same doer, for the previous karma of the same doer, you add a ktva. But here, for Ekajivada, you can say ktva is added there, but why did he say tadanantaram then? Because samana kartrikayo, when the doer is same, in the previous stand you have to say tva. After gaining the knowledge, then there is no doer. So in that situation, he has to say tadanantaram. That way you have to understand. Okay? Tallabhe tadanantaram ityasya vayartya apatat. Otherwise, tadanantaram will become useless. That is why he has to give a different interpretation to that. Tasmat tasya. You understand? There are two understandings here. Ktva is used, yes, but after that the doer is not there. Therefore, to eradicate that doubt, he has used tadanantaram. Otherwise, after the knowledge, he stays till the prarabdha exists, and after the death. That is how you have to understand. Tasmat tasya tavadeva jaram yavanna vimokshata sampatse iti shrutyartha eva atra darshito bhagavata. Because Bhagavan in Shruti also it is said tatsya tavadeva chiram yavanna vimokshata sampatse. He waits only till that. He has this semblance of duality only till that. When? Till he drops the body. Once he drops the embodiment, he becomes one with that. यद्यपि ज्ञानेन अज्ञानं निवर्तितं एव दीपेनैव तमः. So though through the knowledge the ignorance is removed, eradicated completely, like the lamp removes the darkness, still tad virodhi swabhavatvat, because they are contradictory. That is why in the Brahma Sutra beginning itself he says yushpadasmat pratyagocharayoh vishe vishinoh tamah prakashavat viruddha swabhavayoh. Tamah prakashavat viruddha swabhavayoh. They are like darkness and illumination. They are contradictory natured. So still tatsapi, still what happens is tat upadeyam ahankara dehadi nirupadanam eva yavat prarabdha karma bhogam anuvartate drishtattvadeva. So since you see the existence of jnani, so without the material cause, this body sense organ complex remains for a moment. Moment means till the prarabdha karma exists. How can that be? This is how it is accepted by the logicians. He says, nahi drishto anupannam nama. When you perceive something, there is no illogic there. There cannot be impossibility in the world you see. There is nothing impossible in the world you see. Tarkiki, the logicians also accept what? Samavai karana nashat dravya nasham angi kurvadbihi nirupadanam dravyam kshanamatam tishtati tyang. Understand this. Samavai karana. Samavai karana means that which cause which is inseparable with the effect. Like for the cloth, the samavai karana is tantu sanyoga. Tantu, the thread, the association of the thread. Okay. So when you want to destroy the cloth, what happens is you destroy first the thread. The thread destroys, there is a movement, and then the cloth destroys. That 1 second it remains. That one moment it remains. It can be a second, it can be an extended period of time. That is why he says, dravyam ksanamatram tishtati. Without any material cause. Nirupadanam. Without any material cause, it is staying for a moment. Iti angiram. That is what they accept. Nitya paramanu samayata dyanukka nashe tu asamaya karana nashadeva dravyanasha. In the eternal atoms, when they are in atoms in co-bond, when they are in association, diatom, two atoms come together, that is diatom. Now this association, when it breaks down, there is no material cause there. So this association itself is the cause there. So once the association breaks, for a second it remains, and then it becomes a destroyed, meaning the diatom state becomes destroyed. Atoms are not destructible. Even logicians accept that. Samai nirupita karana nashatvam ubayoho anugatam iti. So in both places, this is this compelling reason, which is the material cause or the association. That destruction happens, and after that a second there is a lull, and then the material gets destroyed. This is accepted in both the states. Yetu asamaya karana nasham eva sarvatra karya dravya nashakam icchanti. The people who accept the asamaya karana means the separable cause. Whoever accept the separable cause as the reason for destruction of the effect, tesham ashray nasha sthale. There, for them, the ashray nasha, in the place where it happens, destruction there, kshanadvayam anupadanam karyam tishtati. For 2 moments in that ashraya, in that substratum, for 2 moments, this material exists without material cause. Understand this. There is a substratum. On that substratum, there is a pot. You destroy the pot. The association with the substratum is first destroyed, and the pot is destroyed next. So there are 2 actions taking place. So what happens is they stay for 2 more extra moments, seconds. Evancha tatraiva pratibandhaka, only for second it can exist, right? In both the places it can only exist for a second. 1 second, 2 seconds. oh, this 1 second, 2 second, it is not 1 second, 2 second. That is why I was using moment, because it can be nanoseconds, doesn't really matter. It can be a long period. How can that be a long period? That's a stupid thing. Yes, that is what he says. Tatraiva pratibandhaka sannipate bahukalavasthiti kena varyate. If there is an obstacle, you destroy it. But if there is an obstacle, what obstacle? I don't understand. Wait, let us think. I'm taking a video, right? And I see, I don't know, I have not taken this kind of video. They take, while they take a video, they shoot a slow motion in between, right? They take a fast video and suddenly the video turns into a slow motion. Now, let us suppose you have that ability to make a slow motion of the whole creation. What happens? Instead of breaking immediately, it takes a lot of time to break. Do you understand that? Why? Because you have slow mode everything. You have applied the slow motion everywhere. So it is taking a lot of time to process. That is the pratibandhaka. That your power is a pratibandhaka. Power is an obstacle. So power is an obstacle everywhere. Here, any kind of power is an obstacle. Like the power of Shamantaka Mani, the Chandrakanta Mani. Chandrakanta Mani, not Shamantaka Mani, Chandrakanta Mani. Chandrakanta moonstone, if you put it in fire, the fire loses its ability to burn. It may have the ability to shine, illumine, but it will not have the ability to burn. So that kind of a obstacle can be there. Bahukalavasthiti. So when there is an obstacle like that, it can exist for a long period of time instead of moments. Who can negate it? No one can. Prarabdha karmanascha pratibandhakatvam shruti siddham. And prarabdha karma being an obstacle is famous in the shruti. Antakarana dehadi avasthiti anyatha anupatti siddham. And there is no other possibility. Otherwise, you cannot establish the existence of body sense organ complex for the jnani. So you have to accept that. There is no option there. That is why we accept anyatha anupatti, arthapatti pramana, postulation. Evam shishya sevakadi. See, this is my prarabdha. Okay. Sometimes it need not be even my prarabdha, where I am experiencing things. It can be your prarabdha, the disciples' prarabdha, or Ishvara's prarabdha. Ishvara's prarabdha was accepted by Panchatashikara. But here he brings one, only Shishya prarabdha. He says, Shishya Sevakadi, the disciple or the servants, whoever they are, these people who do the service, they, Adrishtamapi, their punya or papa, because of them, you need to suffer or you need to enjoy. So because of that, tat pratibandhakam, that also becomes an obstacle. Tat abhavam apekshya, and he has to experience that and extinguish that. Based on that, purusiddheva ajnana nasha tat karyam antakarnadikam nashyati. So whatever caused the destruction of ajnana, that will cause the destruction of this state also. Iti na punarjnanam. Therefore, you don't have to gain knowledge again to destroy this. Taduktam. This is what is said. तीर्थे शोपचग्रहे वा नष्टस्मृतिरपि परित्यजेत् अहं परित्यजन् देहं ज्ञानसमकालमुक्तः कैवल्यं याति हतशोक इति. Tirthe, in a holy place, Shopachagrehe, or in a person, dog eaters. Dog eater means Chandala, crematory ground. Nashta Smritirapi. Oh, maybe he has lost his memory. He has lost, he is in coma. Still, Parityajan Deham, if he gives up the body, Jnana Samakala Muktaha, Kaivalyam Yati, the one who is liberated just at the time of knowledge. Therefore, wherever he drops his body does not really matter. He gains that absolute self. Hatha Shoka, without any sorrow. Na janami ityadi pratyastu. But wait, I didn't understand that. Okay, I'll explain. When you see a jnani, you are asking, where is this pot? Oh, I don't know where the pot is. Sometimes he is saying you this and that, and you believe in that and this, and it happens in that way and this way, whatever he says. And sometimes he forewarns you this will happen, be careful, that will happen, be careful, and it happens. And when you ask for a simple thing, he says, I don't know. What did we learn about Jnani? Jnani means he knows the cause. Mritika ityeva satyam. He understands this cause, which is the self, is the only truth. There is nothing else. When he understands everything to be that self, he should know where that pot is or where that dog is lost, etc. But he says, I don't know. For that, he says, Na janami ityadi pratyastu. This idea of I don't know, etc. Tasya, for that knowledgeable one, the liberated one. Nivritta jnanasya. Tasya means if you should not have the doubt. So he says, for the one who has who has destroyed the ignorance. Ajnana nasha janitad anupadanat sakshat atma ashrayat. Because of that non-material cause which is established in the where is the ignorance? Ignorance exists in the substratum of self. So this non-material also exists only in the substratum of self. Okay, so anupadanat, that samskara which is also called as samskara, that non-material is also called as samskara. Tattva jnana samskara nirvartyat, and that is also negated by the knowledge of the self itself. Do you understand? See, knowledge destroys the ignorance. After that knowledge, after that liberation, he is doing the transaction. That transaction is based on prarabdha, that is given the name samskara. Okay, and that also is negated by that knowledge itself. Iti avadhehi iti antakarana sthiti avadhehi, and that exists, that samskara exists till the mind exists, as though, like, let me explain it in the example. See, there is this asafoetida. Okay, you take this asafoetida, use all that. The box is empty, not half empty, not half full, completely empty. There is not even a speck of asafoetida. You have even washed it, let us say, but smell, it will be there. Or in the case of garlic also, garlic paste or garlic, in whichever box you kept, the smell will be there. So similarly, that smell is called as samskara. Even if the mind is destroyed, that smell, that samskara which takes place, that is what is going to take care of the later period. That is what Vivaranakara accepts. Aham brahmasmiti charma sakshatkara anantaram aham brahma na bhavami na janami ityadi pratyo nastyeva. It can be I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know how to. All this can be with respect to the world, not with respect to the self. I am not self, I cannot become the self. This kind of doubt or erroneous knowledge can never take place in the liberated. Yadi param ghatam na janami ityadi pratyah. If he says, I don't know the pot, etc., then tat upadanaya cha iyam samskara kalpana iti nanapana. To establish that kind of ignorance, you have to accept something. So we accept this samskara. Okay, we accept the samskara. So that samskara, that leftover is what? Leftover is a stupid word. I'll come to that. Ajnana lesha padena api ayam eva samskaro vikshat. This samskara is what is called as ajnana lesha or lesha avidya. Okay, lesha avidya. Lesha means small, little bit, tiny, puny, wee bit. So that avidya. But wait, little bit of avidya, all the avidya is removed and it leaves only a little bit. No, don't fall in that trap. So he says, nahi savayavam ajnanam. The ignorance is not with parts. Ignorance does not have parts. Yena kim kiyat na nashyati kiyat tishtati iti vachyam. So how much will be destroyed? How much will be left? In this way, there can be no question because it is not of parts. Why? Anirvachyatvat. Because we have already established it is inexplicable. Inexplicable cannot have any parts or limbs. Okay. Evam. Therefore, when we say it left, a small portion, there is a lesha, there is a samskara. It does not mean it leaves a small portion. Therefore he says ekadesha abhyavagametu tan nivrityartham punascharamam jnanam apekshitam eva. So if you say a portion of ignorance will be left over, then to get rid of that portion of ignorance you have to gain the knowledge again. Then again another portion for you to take care of the body, sense organ, again another knowledge, there will be unending. So tacha mritikale durgatamiti, and okay, let it be there, so what. But during the time of death, your body sense organ complex is involved in something. It will not be involved in this thought of negating that lesha vidya. So iti tattva-jnana sakshatkara-nashyata tasya abhyupeya. So therefore you have to understand, by the knowledge of immediate knowledge of the self, that also is destroyed. Okay, tadasya samskara pakshat na kopi vishesha iti purvoktena kalpana shreyasi. So therefore whatever we explained as samskara, that itself is good enough. So that is the better option to accept. So nothing is no other imagination is better than that. ईदृश जीवन मुक्ति अपेक्षया च प्राग भगवता उक्तम. With respect to this kind of liberator while alive, Bhagavan has said, upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas-tattva darshanah. The people who have the knowledge, they will give the knowledge, they will give initiation to you of the knowledge. And if there is no knowledgeable, how can they be initiating you? So iti sthita prajna lakshanani cha vyakhyatani. We explain this sthita prajna lakshana also. Tasmat sadhuktam vinshate tadanantaram. Therefore whatever is said is rightly said, that they will enter the self immediately. It is like this. Okay, the fire burns and you have put off the fire. Until the firewood is not, you have removed everything, until the firewood, final piece of the charcoal is not burnt, there will be that fire. Once every fire fuel is burnt, there is no fire. That is how you have to understand. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.